Welcome to Movie Recall. In today's video, we will be going through the 2019 movie Shazam. It's time to recall, let's get started, turn on subtitles, and spoilers ahead. The movie starts when we are taken to 1974 in upstate New York. We see young Thaddeus Savannah is riding in a car with his abusive father and brother Sid during a snowstorm and is mocked and verbally harassed by them constantly. Thaddeus is in the back seat of the car playing his game when suddenly random alphabets start popping up on his screen, and he is weirded out because this never happens. When he looks up, he is shocked to see that his father and brother are not in the car anymore. All of a sudden, the car starts to speed up and he gets scared, having no idea what is going on. When he looks around, he sees snow all around, and Thaddeus goes on to open the door of the car and comes out. He looks around and realizes he is in a different world now. This place is called Rock of Eternity. When he looks around, he sees an old wizard named Shazam standing right in front of him. He goes on to tell Thaddeus that he is the last of the tribe of wizards, and he has been trying to save the world from committing the 7 deadly sins. Shazam goes on to say that he has spent centuries searching for someone pure of heart to bestow his power and name as champion after the previous one released the 7 deadly sins: sloth, wrath, pride, greed, gluttony, envy, and lust. Shazam says that he is now old and he seems to be losing control over his powers, so he has been in search of a man who is pure of heart, and he would like such a person to take his place. He goes on to say that he is going to make that person his heir by giving him all of his powers. He tells Thaddeus that if he wants to be proven worthy of taking Shazam's place, then he is going to have to go through a test. Thaddeus then looks around and sees 7 statues in which the 7 deadly sins have been trapped. He goes on to hear the voice of one of those statues. The statue gives Thaddeus different kinds of offers. Greed speaks, and he tells Thaddeus to help him get free, and when he has done that, he will be provided with everything that he has ever desired. There is a glowing ball in front of Thaddeus, using which he can help these 7 deadly sins get free, and Thaddeus starts walking towards that ball. When he is about to get his hands on it, Shazam stops him, saying he is not worthy of having his powers, and he hits his cane on the ground, and the next thing we see, Thaddeus is back in the car with his dad and brother. Thaddeus then starts shouting at the top of his lungs in the back seat of the car, and his father asks him what is going on with him. His dad is distracted by his screams, and they get into a brutal accident, which results in his father becoming paralyzed from the waist down and even more resentful toward him. The sins send Thaddeus a message via his 8-ball toy telling him to find them. The scene then changes to Rock of Eternity, where we see Shazam standing. He is worried, and the sins tell him that he is now getting old and weak, so it's just a matter of time before they are able to free themselves, and Shazam will not be able to stop them because he is too weak. Shazam then orders his powers to go out and find him a person who is pure of heart. The scene changes, and we are now in the present time. We are taken to Philadelphia, where a 14-year-old foster child, Billy Batson, continually runs away from foster homes to search for his birth mother, from whom he became separated while at a carnival 10 years ago. Billy tries his best to find his mother, but luck does not seem to be on his side. He is caught again and sent to another foster home, where he meets with some new foster kids. The couple who is taking care of this foster home tell the kids that there was a time when they themselves used to be foster kids. This couple is Victor and Rosa Vasquez, and they now live with 5 other foster children: Mary Bromfield, Pedro Pena, Eugene Choi, Darla Dudley, and superhero enthusiast Freddie Freeman. The scene then changes and we see a middle-aged bald man. This is Thaddeus, and he has been looking for the Rock of Eternity ever since he was kicked out of there. We then see a group of people who have been to the Rock of Eternity, but they were kicked out of there because they were not able to pass the test. They, however, can be heard sharing their experience with the world. Thaddeus goes on to take help from all such people, and he manages to get the signs he saw on his 8-ball that night when he was in the car with his dad. He has now assembled all those signs and writes it on a door. Thaddeus' assistant tells him that he seems to be going crazy, adding that these random signs are not going to work, but when she touches the door where the signs have been made, she gets burnt. Thaddeus then opens that door, and when he goes on the other side, he sees that he is back to the Rock of Eternity. Shazam is too old, but he is still there and has been managing to keep the 7 deadly sins locked up. Thaddeus tells Shazam that he might not recognize him now, but he came here many years ago when he was a kid, and now he is back again. However, he is not there to take powers from Shazam. He is there because he was asked by the sins to find them, so he has. He then sees the glowing ball called the Eye of Sin. The ball starts glowing brightly, and Thaddeus moves towards it. The 7 deadly sins then say that the wizard Shazam is too old now. He now does not have the power to stop them. Wrath speaks up saying Shazam has still not been able to find an heir to take his place, but they found their champion. This is when all 7 statues just break into pieces and all the 7 deadly sins are now free to roam the world. Wrath steps up to Thaddeus and tells him that he is the real champion. All the deadly sins then get absorbed in the Eye of Sin. Thaddeus's eyes then change colors and Shazam shouts at him to stop right there, adding that these sins are going to use him, but Thaddeus tells him that Shazam is never going to be able to find his heir because he wants a person who is pure of heart, but in this world, all the people are doing one sin or another and none of them is pure of heart. This is when he attacks Shazam and leaves. The scene changes to the world of humans, where we see Freddy, who is a disabled kid and he gets bullied by the other students in the school. He happens to be the foster brother of Billy. Billy then goes on to use Freddy's stick and attacks the bullies and runs away. Those 2 bullies then chase Billy, but he manages to get on the subway just in time and the door closes. When he is sitting in the subway, the people in the train start disappearing out of nowhere, and then there is snow everywhere. When the door to the train opens, Billy goes out and he looks around. We see that he has reached the Rock of Eternity. He sees Shazam standing right in front of him. Shazam tells Billy that he is his and the world's last hope, adding that he wants to give him all his powers. He then adds that he and his brother locked up the 7 deadly sins, but his brother died and he was left alone to keep the sins locked up, but he is now old and he got weaker, so he started losing his powers. The sins then got free because he could not stop them. Shazam says that he is old and he does not know for how long he is going to be around. He tells Billy that he wants to give him all of his powers because Billy happens to be pure of heart. He tells Billy to grab his stick, and when Billy does that, all of Shazam's powers are transferred to him. A 14-year-old Billy now becomes a grown-up strong man. Shazam tells him that he is now powerful only because he gave Billy his powers, but he tells him that he can only grow his powers if he does good and selfless deeds. Shazam then turns to dust in front of him, and Billy gets scared. Billy then starts shouting and screams, asking to be returned to where he came from, and the next thing we see, he is sitting in the train where he was earlier. His body is, however, that of a grown-up strong man now. He makes his way to his foster home where he sees Freddy, who of course does not recognize him. Billy tells him the whole story and Freddy finally believes him. Both of them then go out and they practice using Billy's new powers. Billy and Freddy are fascinated by everything Billy can do now with the tip of his finger. He now has become a superhero. Freddy helps him explore his newfound powers, which include superhuman strength, near invulnerability, and electricity manipulation. Billy and Freddy then come back to the foster care and Billy sees his foster sister named Darla, who gets scared when she sees him like that. He says that he does not know how he became what he is now. He was just told by an old man to say his name, and when he said Shazam, he changed into this. By saying Shazam again, he can transform back into his normal body, the body of a 14-year-old Billy. He now understands that Shazam is the word which he can use to change his appearance. On the other hand, we see Thaddeus, who now possesses the power of the 7 deadly sins, and he makes his way to his father's company. He right away kills his elder brother who is sitting in the meeting. He kills him because his brother used to bully him a lot when he was a kid. The 7 deadly demons then come out and start killing the other people in the meeting as well. Thaddeus then goes on to say that he is the most powerful in this world. This is when one of the sins tells him that Shazam has now found his heir. Thaddeus is told that the heir of Shazam is more powerful than him, and if he wants to be the most powerful of them all, then Thaddeus is going to have to kill that boy. Thaddeus leaves the office of his father, and his demons go on to kill his father in a brutal manner. On the other hand, Freddy posts viral videos of the new superhero, and Billy starts skipping school to use his powers to busk for money and fame. One day he is demonstrating his powers for a group of people near the road when he goes to use his power of electricity. It hits a moving bus and the tire goes flat. The bus crashes off a bridge, and when the bus is about to land, Billy uses his power and stops the bus from falling, saving the lives of many innocent people. Freddy is pissed at Billy for being careless like that, and the two end up getting into an argument. This is when Thaddeus arrives and goes on to approach Billy. He asks Billy if he has been chosen by Shazam, and Billy says yes. Billy is then attacked by Thaddeus, who goes on to beat the crap out of him. Despite being more powerful than Thaddeus, Billy gets a lot of beating from him because he has not been serious about his powers. He has not been preparing the way he was supposed to. Billy has no idea how to use his powers. Billy, the new Shazam, is then taken to the heights of the sky by Thaddeus, and then he drops him from there. Just as he is about to crash on the ground, he discovers his ability to fly and stops himself from falling like that. Thaddeus again goes on to attack him and lands another heavy strike. Both of them then get to a crowded mall where Billy realizes that he is not going to be able to fight Thaddeus because he has not practiced that way. He says Shazam and turns into the real Billy and gets mixed with the people in the crowd. Thaddeus gets to know that Freddy is Shazam's friend, so he kidnaps him. Shazam then gets to know the address of his mother, the woman he has been looking for the last 10 years. She is only 2 subway stops away. Billy rushes out of his house with his foster parents in town. Back at the house, Thaddeus shows up with Freddy and traps the children. Billy arrives at his mother's apartment complex. His mother informs Billy that he was intentionally abandoned on that day and saw him with the police as she thought that he would be better cared for by others since she was just 17 when she had him. Controlling his emotions in the face of the heartbreaking reality that his stubborn years-long search for his mother was all for nothing, Billy quietly reassures his mother that he is fine, but he has to return to his real family. However, Billy gives his mother the keychain compass she gave him years ago with a comment mixed with regret, resentment, and understanding about her. Leaving, he receives a call and Thaddeus tells him to come home. Billy jumps off the apartment building and transforms to Shazam and flies home. Shazam now decides to give up the power to save his family and goes to see Thaddeus, who opens a magical door to the Rock of Eternity. Taking the wizard's staff, Thaddeus unleashes the 7 deadly sins. The other foster kids also enter the cave and distract Thaddeus long enough for them to run and exit into a winter carnival. Thaddeus pursues them to the carnival and unleashes the sins upon the crowd. Remembering the wizard's words, Billy uses the other foster kids to share his power. He makes them grab his stick and say Shazam. As they do that, all of them transfer into adult superheroes like him before. The Shazam family battles against the sins while Billy faces down Thaddeus. Billy goads Envy into leaving Thaddeus vulnerable and recaptures them after forcefully pulling the eye out of Thaddeus' head. Billy and his siblings are hailed as heroes. They return the sins to their prison and realize they can use the Rock of Eternity as their superhero headquarters, and with Billy back with his real family, the movie comes to an end. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and click the bell icon to get new movie recaps.